All right, we're going to open up the April 7th commission meeting. We'll have the call to order invocation by Mr. Hart, pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Firstner, and then roll call. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your abundant grace and mercy you've allowed us to come together to conduct the city's business. And Father, we pray that you help us to come in the spirit of unity. Even though we may disagree, let us not disrespect or disengage from one another, but to continue to treat each other as brothers and sisters. We say a special prayer over all our brothers and sisters in the armed forces all over the world. Keep them safe and keep them in your care. And once again, watch over our first responders. Watch over them as they watch over us. We give you the praise, the honor, and the glory you do. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Firstner,
Here.
Commissioner Oliver is absent.
Okay. We got two or three little here, agenda items here. Is the volunteer of the month. I'm gonna let you,
I get to read it.
you get to read it and they're gonna come up.
It's a
When we get
proclamation from the city of Ocoee, whereas the month of April has been designated nationally as Volunteer Month to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of our community and volunteers. And whereas the month is an opportunity to celebrate and honor the numerous individuals and groups who invest their time to better the community around them. And whereas the city of Ocoee is proud to host 8 volunteer advisory boards which promote and maintain a positive relationship between citizens, the commission, and the city respective departments. And whereas the city's 44 volunteers contribute their time and diligence to keep these positive connections. And whereas all citizens of the city of Ocoee community benefit from the work of these selfless individuals. And whereas the city of Ocoee hosts great appreciation for their continued dedication and hard work. Now, therefore, the Commission of the city of Ocoee does hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Volunteer Month. In the city of Ocoee to encourage all officials and residents to extend appreciation to the many volunteers who serve the community. Signed by our mayor, Rusty Johnson.
Are they here, the volunteers here,
We have.
to get the pictures?
We have some volunteers I know sitting out here.
We have the volunteers here?
Huh?
You want to come up front and get a picture made? Here,
We'll stand back there.
hold that right in front. We'll stand up back here and get our picture made too. Okay?
Thanks for coming.
Some of our outstanding citizens that help us on our volunteer for our different boards.
If I get another row in the front here, so really
Don't be shy.
come forward, step in here. You want to go here and then you want to come in the front so we can see you better?
Mr. Mack. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, my God, I'm sorry.
Part of the transportation committee.
Let's see, can I get at least one more person on this side? Give it up a little bit. Do one more.
No hiding back there, G.
You better get up.
Yeah.
Hi.
All that is, there you go. Okay, see everybody now. You want to take some pictures too then? Sure. Okay. All right, let's get a few here for us. All right, stand by. Smiling, and let's see the eyes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Neighbor. Appreciate you coming. Thank you. All right. Now we have the Water Conservation Proclamation.
Get Francie.
I'm gonna bring you up, and let you introduce you. I'll let you go ahead, then I'll read it after y'all get through, and then we'll get a picture made.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. I want to introduce those of you who have not met Mackenzie. This is Mackenzie, the city's Water Conservation Coordinator. She's been with us for a few months now and doing a fantastic job.
Hello, it's nice to meet everybody. If you ever have any questions about water conservation, definitely come over to utilities. I've been having a lot of fun over there, and it'd be so nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Glad to have you aboard. Thank you. Just hold that there. All right, whereas water is basic and the essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida Water Management District and the city of Ocoee are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. And whereas the city of Ocoee and the state of Florida have designated April typically a dry month when water demands are most accurate. Florida's Water Conservation Month to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. And whereas the city of Ocoee has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizens can make a difference when it comes to conserving water. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. And whereas efficient irrigation design, program, and maintenance can conserve water, the city of Ocoee will encourage citizens and businesses to evaluate their irrigation systems for potential efficiency and enhancements. Now therefore, the Commission of the City of Ocoee, Florida does hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Water Conservation Month. The City of Ocoee is calling upon each citizen and business to help protect our precious resources by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. For this, the 28th year of Water Conservation Month, there will be a special focus on community outreach and education. In witness thereof, I hereunto have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Ocoee, Florida to be affixed this 7th day of April, 2026. If y'all will come down front, we'll let you hold this and get some pictures, and we'll stand up behind. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate all the support from
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you. All right, we're getting the photographer back out. Just to let you know, Jen is one of our great employees up at running the water and the sewer department for the city of Ocoee. All right. All right. There it is, the agenda. Oops. All right, we need Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm gonna go ahead and do the public comments. Craig, before I do that.
Pardon?
I'll call on you after I get through the
Okay,
public comments.
thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor, Commission. My name's Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm the elected Orange Soil and Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor, serving the northwest part of Orange County. Happy Water Conservation Month. If you love life, don't waste water. For water is what life is made up of. And it's also what we as individuals, the majority of us are made up of water also. But here's a disclaimer,
What I want to, first, I'm telling everybody about the purpose of the Orange Soil and Water Conservation District, because not enough people really know. This is verbatim from the law, but I'll paraphrase. Our job is to work with local government, other governmental agencies, landowners, land occupiers, the agricultural industry, and the general public to protect land and water resources. We have a meeting coming up this Friday. Our meetings are always the second Friday of the month. They're in the BCC chambers. This particular Friday, the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service district conservationists will be there. We will talk about local working group. We'll try to decide on a date and a place. But it is an opportunity to potentially get funding for land and water resources here, the farms, et cetera. So I'd like to encourage the commission here to, once we get a date and time, to encourage local farmers, the Blueberry Farm, Lake Meadows Naturals, et cetera, to come to this to potentially get some funding. It's our job, which I just learned and we haven't been doing, is to lead this working group and to bring people together. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. There's a whole list of potential categories that NRCS uses, but basically soil erosion, soil health, and water quality. As you can see, it's a natural thing because we don't have drifted snow, not at least last time I looked. But thank you all for listening. Thank you for your time, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer. I have Lindsay Agnew.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Lindsay Agnew. I'm a local artist and the founder of Studio Agnew here in Ocoee, with a background in Walt Disney Imagineering and a degree from Ringling College of Art and Design. Right now, there are very few consistent art classes or creative programs in Ocoee. Many families, individuals have to leave the city to find those experiences. I'm here because I see a need in our community and an opportunity to meet it. From kids to seniors, I offer on-site art classes in painting, drawing, watercolor, mixed media. I've already started working with local schools and residents, and there is a real interest here. People are craving creativity, connection, and the opportunity to learn new artistic skills. The biggest challenge right now is a space. I'm looking for an opportunity to partner with the city to use an existing space to establish ongoing art classes and workshops. I'm not asking to build something new, just to help bring life to a space that already exists. I would love to connect with the right person and get this started. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Craig, would you?
Absolutely. We have a number of third-party programs run under our Parks and Leisure Services Department. I'm going to connect you with the Assistant City Manager who's lurking about somewhere. And in his absence, I'm going to ask, oh, there you are. Usually you're in the back of the room. He's going to get you in contact with Mark Johnson, our Director of Parks and Leisure, and I think we can definitely work together on this.
Okay, I also have a handout too, if you guys are interested in one. Yep.
Please, yes.
Craig. Mark is in the back there.
He's around there somewhere too.
Do I give it to you guys?
You can, I would,
Actually, if you can give it to the clerk here,
Yeah.
we'll make sure it gets distributed. My search image is still on Easter eggs,
we
so
got your phone number here, they can get a hold of you. You
I'm
can
not
call,
seeing people.
talk to Mike Rumors, Assistant City Manager, and Mark Johnson, or Leisure Services Manager. All right? Thank you, ma'am. Kelly Beck?
Good evenings. So I'm here representing the Human Relations Diversity Board. I'm fortunate enough to be the chair of it this year. As many of you may know, April is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. As we go into our May HRDB meeting, we are going to have a special guest speaker for the University of Central Florida. It's going to be a continuation of our community speaker series as we continue the mission of the HRDB. So our session is going to be creating supportive spaces, understanding different thinking styles at home and in the community. So I'd like to personally invite both the commission and the community. I know we have a lot of representatives here from the other boards and all the other volunteer boards, so this is a great opportunity to come and learn. It's a great speaker, Kavita Sal from UCF. She's done our previous sessions. You can see them on the city's YouTube channel. We've done sessions on veterans in the community. We've done sessions on creating inclusive spaces, on helping those of differing abilities in the community, especially targeted at small businesses. So this is a continuation of that series, and it is Thursday, May 7th at 6:15. It is absolutely free. We would love to have you here in the commission chambers, and we just really hope to see you there for our workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're down to staff reports and the agenda. Oh, I haven't forgot you, but you put down, you're on item number 3, so that's not yet.
Yeah, that's consent agenda.
That's consent.
I know. I haven't got there yet.
With that heat, he wants to talk about.
Well, I do.
I'm
have-
Doug Gomber. I live at,
He's put down item 3.
405 Misty Meadow Drive. I have two questions.
Why don't y'all
Actually,
go in the city?
one of these, I want to direct this to you, Mr. Geller. After all the bills that were signed by Mr. DeSantis, can you give us an update on what the SB 180 is going to do to the Envision 2045? We've done so much work here on that, and what I'm reading in the paper really is scaring me from what they will accept and what they won't accept. And I'm really concerned about what it's going to do to our parcel down there at Clark and Orlando across from the mall, what this kind of decision will do as far as what they're going to be able to do. So whenever you can get to that, I'd like some kind of update on that. My second item here is, Rusty, on consent item number 3.
Yeah.
I've done some research on this, and I don't find anywhere where we've ever talked about the city buying property that's A, not designed for city use or attached to a city piece of property. As a citizen of Ocoee, I don't really see where we should be in the property management business. There's no need for anybody to spend $235,000 or $75,000 to buy a piece of property that the city isn't going to use. I don't think that that's a wise use of that money, and I just wanted to say that's my opinion.
All right. You want to make any comments? Great.
The city is not in the property buying business in the aggregate. It is not uncommon, and you can look around Central Florida, it's not uncommon for cities to buy a piece of property in a downtown redevelopment area or Main Street area and put a plan for something that they'd like to see there and then sell it in the market. Downtown Winter Garden has been built off of that practice. The funds expended on this item are in the existing budget and would not impact us moving into next year. And the property is listed well below what we think the market is. We could go either way, but I absolutely agree. We don't need to be in the property management business. But this is more of a strategic move on a quarter that the city commission just spent $4 million trying to create a bookend so that you have a block with McKee and Oakland, and that could be a strategic acquisition on that.
Do you want me to?
And that's all I have.
Do you want me to address SB 180?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've addressed SB 180 before in here, and I'll do it again. Our Vision 2045 comprehensive plan has an opt-out provision. SB 180 says that a municipality
or county for that matter, cannot adopt a more burdensome or restrictive land use provision. We got around that by having an opt-out. So if a developer wants to develop in the city of Ocoee, they are able to use the prior version of our comprehensive plan. That way they have no serious argument that Envision 2045 is more restrictive or burdensome. I've not been briefed by the Florida League of Cities, but my understanding is that there were no revisions to SB 180 out of this past legislative session.
All right, just a quick comment on the, Mr. Gomer, about the city buy and purchase. We're not, like the city manager said, I don't think we're in that business, but if you go to other cities, and one right next to us, Winter Garden, you'll find out that they've bought a lot of different places in their city to make sure they get the right development. They go out and find the people to come in and buy that lot back to build something that'll fit into the area of what we're trying to do. So that's one of the reasons to try to get a hold of that piece of property. All right.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to ask City Attorney Geller to expand just a little bit towards Mr. Gomber's question and explain that we have determined that our Envision 2045 is in full effect on the heels of the challenge that, well, not challenge, but the DOA hearing that we were a part of.
That's right. The administrative judge entered an order that was against the city's position, but in doing so, sprinkled throughout his opinion, noted that the Department of Economic Opportunity did not have the legislative authority to issue a letter stating that our Envision 2045 was null and void. In addition, in bringing the proceeding before the Department of Administrative Hearings, the Department of Economic Opportunity stated on the record in response to the proceedings that we began that their letter had no legal effect and did not require the city to do or not do anything. And so putting all that together, we've come to the determination that Envision 2045 is good to go, and we're treating it as such.
You through, Craig?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to go down to the consent agenda.
I'm sorry. Staff reports. I thought you meant with respect to the questions. I have one really quick, small item. We have a contractor working on the reclaimed storage tanks that are under construction at the end of Nicole Boulevard, and we're in the critical phase of applying the epoxy to the interior of those tanks. And unfortunately, the epoxy only does well on a temperature that's decreasing. So I'm asking the commission's permission to extend the work hours for the crew that's applying the epoxy to midnight on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. The only equipment that would be in operation would be lighting and one compressor. We would also have a employee on site to make sure that the noise level didn't exceed an acceptable level. But it's pretty vital that we do this, and so I'm asking the commission's permission to extend our hours from 9 p.m. cutoff to 12 p.m. 12 a.m.
All right, on that consent, you okay?
That's
Just ask that it be,
Huh?
can I just ask that it be put on the website, maybe for folks to,
Yes.
if they're aware, to be aware that, I'm getting a head shake, yes. that-
You all right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
All right. Approved by the commissioners here. Commissioner Oliver's out for death in the family. All right, public comments, we did consent agenda. We got item 1 through 19.
Mayor, I was going to ask for item 3 to be pulled, but I feel as though if no one else has questions, I think it was addressed.
That's why I was trying to get to that.
Well, that's why I asked Mr. Gomber, I know wanted to speak on it,
All right.
something, that's why
So,
I asked for that.
I'm not gonna
but
pull it then.
I'm not gonna pull it because unless
All right.
someone else in the commission
I
has
need a motion.
concerns. I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner First. More comments? Let's vote. Motion carries with Commissioner Oliver absent. All right, go down to item number 20. It's first reading ordinance for 1460 North Lakewood PUD, annexation, rezoning from Orange County A1 Central Rural District to Planned Unit Development, PUD, and PUD Land Use Plan. Concurrency and Commitment Coordinator, McFarland. This is the first reading. We'll read the ordinances, and then 2 weeks, well, what is it, 2 weeks? 21st, we'll have the open hearing where you can make comments. Go ahead.
The first is the annexation ordinance for 1460 North Lakewood PUD, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real properties containing approximately 5.44 and 1.02 acres located at 1460 and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue, west of North Lakewood Avenue, and approximately 0.2 miles north of the intersection of Worst Road and North Lakewood Avenue. Pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexations to be consistent with the Envision 2045 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. The second ordinance is for the rezoning of 1460 North Lakewood PUD, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee Residential PUD Planned Unit Development on certain real properties containing approximately 5.44 and 1.02 acres located at 1460 and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue, west of North Lakewood Avenue, and approximately 0.2 miles north of the intersection of Worst Road and North Lakewood Avenue, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Envision 2045 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, that'll be back on April the 21st for the second reading and public hearing. All right, go to
Mayor,
item 20.
may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
In the packet on that and the staff report, it says that that parcel is located in District 1, and before that comes back, after redistricting, that parcel moved to District 3. I'd like to see that corrected.
Did you get?
I've told them. Take care
All
of
right,
it.
okay.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 21, first reading of ordinance for the annual comprehensive plan text amendment to adopt 5-year schedule of capital improvements and update the capital improvement element, CIE project, concurrency and commitment coordinator. All right, we're going to read this too. This will be back again on April the 21st. Go ahead.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan as adopted in 2025 as amended in order to comply with Section 163.3177, subparagraph 3, Florida statutes, amending the capital improvements element of the comprehensive plan, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Like I said, it'll be back on April 21st for the second reading and the public hearing. Item number 22, first reading of ordinance, amending the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, related to the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund, amending ordinance number 2010-019 as subsequently amended, providing for the restatement of the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund, providing for severability of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict. I think we're going to change that to superseding any ordinances in effect if there is a conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. Yes.
All right, that'll be back on 21st of April for the second reading and public hearing. All right, 23, first reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee General Retirement Trust Fund.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, relating to the City of Ocoee Municipal General Employees Retirement Trust Fund, amending ordinance number 2009-020 as subsequently amended, providing for the restatement of the City of Ocoee Municipal General Employees Retirement Trust Fund, providing for severability of provisions, providing for prevailing in the event of any inconsistency of any ordinances if there are such conflicts herewith, and providing an effective date.
All right, now item number 24, second reading of ordinances, public hearing. Number 24, second reading of an ordinance providing for an amendment to Chapter 7 of the Code of Ordinance related to the Ocoee Code Enforcement Board and Special Magistrate Ordinance. Did I miss one?
I thought you
22
did.
maybe.
You did
Nope.
22, but did you do 23?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just did 23.
We just did 23.
Okay, sorry. They're similar. They're trying to-
All right, Chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. On February 3rd, City Commission voted unanimously to reconsider its prior decision to retain Code Enforcement Board as the body responsible for adjudicating code enforcement complaints involving residential properties, and instead, they decided to move to a special magistrate system. On March 3rd, the first reading of the ordinance was presented that amends the City Code Enforcement Board and special magistrate provisions by eliminating the Code Enforcement Board in its entirety and transferring its duties and authority to a special magistrate. And this is the second reading.
All right. Anybody comments up here? You gotta read.
ahead, read it.
Go ahead and read.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee creating the Office of Special Magistrate to hold hearings and assess fines against violators of the city codes and ordinances, abolishing the City of Ocoee Code Enforcement Board subject to future reinstatement, reassigning all cases pending before the Code Enforcement Board and all powers of the Code Enforcement Board to the Special Magistrate, defining terms, setting forth the terms of the Special Magistrate and appointment of a Special Magistrate pro tem, establishing code enforcement procedures, establishing hearing procedures and standards, setting forth the powers of the Special Magistrate, providing for administrative fines, fines for the cost of repairs made by the city, liens, procedures for applying for and considering lien reductions and releases, satisfactions and settlements, providing for notice to affected parties, allowing for enforcement by other provisions, providing for appeals, establishing a code enforcement recovery fund, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, codification, and an effective date.
All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing. I have 2 forms filled out. I have one here for Mr. Warren Lewis. We have 3 minutes.
Whatever we normally do.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Warren Lewis. I'm currently the Vice Chair of the Code Enforcement Board for Ocoee. I'm here for 2 reasons tonight. First, because the narrative being used to justify eliminating the voluntary Code Enforcement Board is inaccurate and unfair to the volunteers who have served the city with integrity for decades. And second, because I believe that the hybrid code enforcement system of the nature that I proposed this morning to the city, which would include both a magistrate and the volunteers, would be the best road for Ocoee. First, for months, I have respectfully asked that the public record be corrected because the information presented about the board's performance was inaccurate, and those errors have now become the foundation for a major policy decision regarding the code enforcement process. You were told things such as, we didn't support higher fines, we don't follow staff recommendations, and that was the reason why fines were low. None of these things were true. To the contrary, the board, after due deliberation, has routinely followed recommendations made by the city's code enforcement unit. Interestingly, in the wake of this controversy, the Code Enforcement Unit at the board's most recent March 19th hearing presented 9 cases and recommended fines ranging from $100 to $250 per day. This was a significant increase over the unit's long-standing practice of recommending not more than $50 a day per fines. Of those 9 cases, 7 were approved exactly as recommended. 1 was reduced from $150 to $100 per day, and 1 case was continued until April. This single hearing disproves the narrative that the board is unwilling to impose meaningful fines. The records show the opposite. Yet the city has allowed incorrect information to stand uncorrected and to be used as the basis for dismantling a volunteer board that has served the community faithfully. It goes without saying that a correction of the public record is needed. The second reason that I'm here tonight is Florida statute provides that these laws for the code enforcement can use 3 manners: a voluntary code enforcement unit, a voluntary code enforcement board, a special magistrate, or a hybrid system that uses both. In the proposal that I sent to the city this morning, I'm proposing a hybrid system that would incorporate both the use of the special magistrate and the citizen involvement in the citizens board. Indeed, there are many cities in Florida, including Tampa, St. Pete, Gainesville, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and Orlando, that use this hybrid system. A hybrid model preserves efficiency while maintaining public trust. It ensures that residents have a voice. It strengthens transparency. And it honors the principles that government works best when citizens are part of it versus being pushed aside from it. I close with a very sad commentary that's glaring, especially this evening. Earlier this evening, the Commission issued a proclamation for National Volunteer Appreciation Month, honoring the dedication and service of the many volunteers who contribute to our community. Yet at the same time tonight, the city is eliminating one of the longest serving voluntary boards that we have, and doing this based on a narrative that's grossly inaccurate. One cannot purport to celebrate volunteers while dismantling a voluntary board that has served faithfully and refusing to correct the record about the performance of that board. Such a contradiction undermines public trust and raises serious questions about fairness, transparency, and accountability. I'm asking the city commissioners to firmly and respectfully to correct the record and to adopt a hybrid model instead.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I got one more here. Mr. Bandur? Yep. I had that somewhere.
I have one of my code enforcement board members here to help me with something in a minute, but just hang tight. Commissioners, Mayor, thank you so much for letting me speak this evening. And thank you to the commissioners that I did get a chance to talk to, and the mayor. And I'm sorry that the other 2 commissioners I didn't get a chance to. Again, I'm sorry. My name is Joe Bander. I'm chair for the Ocoee Code Enforcement Board, the residential board. So what I'm here to speak about tonight is maintaining the current Ocoee Residential Code Enforcement Board versus a special magistrate. Listen, the board has been in place for 45 years. They've served the community very well. They're made up of a very diverse group of people with varying backgrounds, and those backgrounds come together to be, that's the strength of the board, okay? These people with differing opinions versus someone, just a single person. The special magistrate, I don't believe is from the Ocoee area, so it's not a resident. You have one person who's going to rule and judge, and you don't know if they're having a good day or a bad day, or maybe they don't like the person that's in front of them. Maybe they look like an ex-wife, a girlfriend, or something like that, or maybe they just don't like redheads. At the end of the day, we're looking for someone who can do fair and just rulings, and that is something that the Code Enforcement Board has done well over this period of time. I have illustrations of past boards' decisions, and for the most part, we have gone with the code enforcement officer's recommendations for fines and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, we also want to have fair and just representation for the citizens of Ocoee. This is our city. This country is based upon of the people, for the people, and by the people. And we shouldn't forget about that. This board right here is made up of diverse people too. And, if a board wasn't important, then I would say resign your positions. You have a city manager and you have an attorney. You have an ideas guy and you can have a guy who makes it legal. But if you feel that this board is important and your backgrounds are important in making your decision-making process, then you only have one decision, is to support the board, not going with a special magistrate. So I will tell you that I have a couple minutes left. And I struggled with this to find out what is the best thing for the city of Ocoee. And believe it or not, one resident came up and said, "Hey, why don't you start a petition and see whether or not the people want this?" Well, if you will, I need you to unfold these and hold them up. So you're going to see a little over 100 names here, okay? Of citizens from all your districts, 4, District 3, District 2, and Commissioner Kinney, District 1. And you're going to see these names, and these names are of the people who do not want a special magistrate. They want to maintain a code enforcement board by their neighbors, and they feel like their neighbors are the best ones to be able to pass judgment. So you'll see these names, like I said. The interesting part about this petition is that it did not follow a standard statistical curve. If anybody knows about statistics, there's a bell-shaped curve. The strange part about it, it was 100%. 100% of the people that I talked to were in favor of keeping the board and not having a special magistrate. That's so unusual, but that's what happened. I made sure that the people that are on this list are citizens of Ocoee. But there were other people that I talked to that were overheard, and they said, we wouldn't want that on our city. We wouldn't want that, and we would prefer to be judged by our neighbors. So at the end of the day, commissioners, please consider the will of your constituents. This is what you were elected to do, is serve the people. And these people are the people that elected you. So are you there for them or for some other purpose? All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, that's all the public comments. I'm going to bring it back, close the public hearing, and bring it back up to the dais. All right, commissioners. You wanna go? All right, Commissioner Kennedy.
Thank you very much. As noted, both Mr. Lewis and Mr. Bandor are residents of District 1. And as I committed at the last meeting, I've had extensive conversation and correspondence with both of them. I want to start with Mr. Lewis's comments. I think we all agree, but without speaking for the entire commission, I'll speak for myself. I think we all agree, and I know the city manager agrees because I discussed it with him, that the information presented to the commission in a public hearing must be accurate and reflect the record. It is true that in some material or immaterial ways, unquantified, there were some misstatements in the presentation. I've asked the city manager to do his due diligence and look at whether the record was misrepresented, whether there were just some misstatements. Some of them are pretty trivial. There's some confusion about January of 25 or January of 26. So I believe everything that I looked at was an honest misstatement. I didn't find any misrepresentation of the actual record. There's some dispute about that, and there's some opinions about that on to what degree did the Code Enforcement Board follow the recommendations of staff for fines? Did they do it all of the time, most of the time, some of the time? And I think there's some disagreement there, and I gave my word to Mr. Lewis and Mr. Bandor that I would ask the city manager to get the facts, and I believe he did that. And so I know that the city manager already took responsibility once for the letter that went out to the board members and corrected that, and I'm sure given the opportunity, he will correct the underlying record. As speaking to Mr. Lewis and Mr. Bandor and evaluating the performance of the Citizen-Based Code Board, I have been one of the more outspoken commissioners in expressing my displeasure and the residents that contact me, their displeasure with the speed with which their issues receive resolution in code due to the quorum issues that existed. In other words, if you have a problem with your neighbor and you have to wait 6 months for the Code Enforcement Board to make quorum, that's an issue. And people write and complain once a week. Commissioner, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? When is code going to do something? And what was not presented in the record at the last commission meeting was that although there was a period from October 24 to March or so of 25 that code didn't meet, and part of that was because they voted not to meet in November and December of 24. They did meet. They moved their meeting, and they did meet in November and December of 25. And so we've been assured that that particular complaint has been addressed. What I found in having a very candid conversation with these two gentlemen is that they were very receptive to feedback. When I pointed out problems with outcomes that I, as a commissioner, perceived and had been asked to solve by residents, their immediate reaction was mostly, well, we didn't know, we hadn't heard that, we didn't receive that feedback. If we had, we would have addressed it. And pretty much universal agreement that it's in the interest of everyone to have a well-functioning code enforcement board. My conclusion after those conversations, and I've had other similar conversations with P&Z members, is one of the problems, and I've made comments here before about commissioners that are liaison to citizen boards, making sure that the boards understand and maintain their mission and commissioner expectations for their boards, is these two boards, which frequently we're not happy with the outcomes of, have no liaison. There's no commissioner that is giving feedback to these boards. On the Citizens Advisory Council for the OPD, where I am the liaison, I've given very direct feedback both to members and to the chair. I'm sorry, that's not what the mission statement for your board says you're supposed to be doing. Please direct your activities somewhere else. If you have a question, get with the chief, get with the city manager, seek confirmation. And we've also had an instance where we've had really strong sergeants from the police department, and we've had weaker sergeants who maybe weren't as outspoken and direct with their direction. And the same situation I've observed is occurred with code. Right now, you have a new, very strong sergeant that just started working with code. And I have good expectations of him. I think the citizen board approach is good. I think what's been lacking is probably some feedback and coaching. And I think the hybrid model is worth considering. I think if there was a magistrate there to advise and give feedback to the board, I think that's a reasonable request. And I think the rest of the commission's complaints can be resolved through a process like that. So although I voted based on the information I had at the time to go with the magistrate, I'm open to requesting more time to evaluate. As Mr. Lewis said, he presented this solution this morning to the commission in an email. I would be willing to vote to extend time to evaluate what a hybrid system would look like, to maintain the citizen involvement for the reasons stated, and also to try to correct, but definitely to reset and to correct the observations the commission has had and the complaints with specific outcomes. That's my comment.
Commissioner Wilson.
I think I'm going to agree with some of the items that Commissioner Kennedy has brought up already at this point, so I won't be redundant. I'm going to apologize, first of all. I agree that very poor timing, giving a volunteer appreciation comments during this. Noticed that when I read the agenda over the weekend. I thought just wasn't the right time, so I do apologize for that. We do value our volunteers. We don't want you to feel as though you're being thrown out. That's the last thing. I've been on the commission for a while, but I started out as a volunteer on a board in the city, many boards. I was on probably 3 or 4 boards at the time. And I want you to realize how much your time and energy that you put into this, how valuable it is, first of all. I have spoke to both Mr. Lewis and Mr. Bader over this, and I think I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know. I think you enlightened me greatly. And I tend to, I'm sitting here going back and forth over this because I want you to know the value of the Code Enforcement Board and your time and the effort that you've put in. I know it's a quasi-judicial, if I'm correct, so that's probably why there is not a liaison attached to it. But I don't think that we've had the communication that we should have had. Yes, it dismayed me when we had 3 months that we didn't have a quorum. That creates a problem because as we live next door to folks that maybe have issues that we don't appreciate, we'd like items to be heard before the Code Enforcement Board. After reading Mr. Lewis's comments today, I went back and watched one of the Code Enforcement Board's meetings. I don't believe in going to these meetings. I'll just say that. I've told Mr. Bander that because I don't think it's appropriate. This is your board. This is your comments. This is time for you to speak, not for me to be in the audience. So that's the reason I have not. I was asked that if I've been to them. No, I have not because I don't believe I should be there. I know that it's noticed. We can, but I'm going to stand firm to that idea. I tend to want, I think at this point, I think I'd like a little more information. I'd like to, in my opinion, to give us more time. I think that we've been given some information, but I think we also have to take what was said to us by the board members. And I welcome more to come forward and speak to us individually, because as you know, you can't speak to us together unless you're here. But I think it was an education for me at this point, for what I've learned. And I've always had a problem with code enforcement. I'll say that only because I never like neighbors, as I say, pitting against neighbors. And that's what happens even with legislature. What they did was they made these, when you make a violation complaint, it used to be able to be anonymous. Now it's not, so your neighbor knows who reported them. But I do appreciate what the board has done. So I think I think listening to Commissioner Kennedy, I always say that we learn a lot from each other speaking, and this is where the avenue where we are able to listen to each other. So I'm thinking that right now. I still want to hear what the other members of the dais have to say before I make my decision. But thank you, and thank you for your time, and thank you to all the volunteers. I am very apologetic for the timing of that proclamation.
Commissioner Forstner?
I initially felt that a third-party special magistrate would be a more impersonal, dispassionate type ruling on these code violations, and that's a double-edged sword. Whereas if the feeling isn't there and the understanding isn't there, it could be unfortunate for some of our residents. I do appreciate the fact that you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort on the board, and you gave it your best shot, and we do appreciate it, and we know you did a good job. Over time, we talked about the amount of fines, the timeliness of the fines, the amount of collections and everything. I don't know if a special magistrate would increase that, and if he does, at what cost? I never thought of a hybrid system. I'd be willing to look at that. I think that's what we may want to do, is just step back and look at a hybrid type system between a board and a special magistrate with residential. That's all.
All right. All right, well, it's kind of a toss-up now. I'm good, might not even say anything, and just let these commissioners that changed their mind from the first time we made this motion, that they brought it up, and I didn't make it. Somebody made the motion to do this, so they had a reason. I will make a couple comments on this. Let's get it understood. I don't go to planning and zoning board meetings, because when you go to them over the years, they're gonna get you up there in front and want you to make a comment about the project that's coming on board. And that's not my job to be doing that. It's the person on the planning and zoning board's job. That's why I don't go to those meetings. And I guess it was a comment sent around to all the people on the board that I didn't go to the meetings. Well, I do go. I've probably been to the code enforcement board meeting over the years more than anybody else on commissioners or mayor. So I don't want that comment to be sent out. Somebody's already did that quick as the meeting was over. I also just got through asking the city attorney, where was the mistakes that was made in the comments? Was there any that needed to be corrected?
I'm not aware of what the mistakes were. They weren't identified to my ear. It maybe one of the other commissioners can point to what the error was.
Well, beside the point, nobody's got the guts to do things sometimes when they're supposed to. And that's the problem about sitting on a job like this. You got to have guts to do what you're supposed to do, no matter what the thought process. So that kind of explains it to me. I knew that this was going to come about tonight, because I knew you got to have the steadfast to stick to what you say you were going to do. And it don't look like they do. Now, Commissioner Oliver's not here tonight to make his comments. I'm going to tell you, it is not all, somebody was out, they didn't have enough people. I think they said 4 months of nobody to do code enforcement. Now, that is also a problem with us, that we didn't have auditors. You do not have auditors on that board? Huh?
No, sir.
Well, there's the problem too, that the city's responsibility. They should have been alternates on that board. So I don't worry about what's going to happen 7 or 8, 9 months from now. What I'm worried about is what's happening in the city. I'm gonna let these people make the motion they wanna make. I'm gonna stay, you know, we sit up here and you're supposed to be able to handle the job and make the comments and say the things. But once again, I don't go to those meetings. I'm not supposed to, and I don't go to them because you get involved in the activities, and I'm not gonna do that. It's not my job to make whatever the comment is. And it is, some of the things, I went back and looked at them, some of the things that sit there about the comments on how much we charge. We have a set fee for certain things. Then they'll extend it from, your neighbor's living there with a mess, and then they go say, we're gonna spend it for 2 months and let the mess drag on. And the other part is code enforcement, believe it or not, folks, that's a hard thing to get controlled because people, they don't want to do it. They just put the code issuer on their bill and that's it. We got a house, I keep telling people right up the street here, it's got over $1 million worth of fines. $1 million. But we can't get nothing done about it. So no, that's my comments. I'm just telling you, when you take this job, do the job. And I'm not going to get involved in it. Y'all make the motion, how you want to do it. So, it's up to y'all.
Do we get to respond to your comment?
I didn't respond to yours.
Okay, well, it just seemed like you were making a.
No, I'm just telling the facts.
accusation.
No, I'm not making an accusation, I'm just telling you the facts. Everybody, you can make your mind, change your mind, Commissioner, but I knew what was going to happen tonight, because it all comes down to certain things. And that's fine. Y'all make the motion. I'll go along with what you want to do. If code enforcement, if that's what you want to do, then we'll do that. But, you know, there wasn't one person, not one person sitting on this dais at that meeting went the other way. Not one.
And I think I've been accountable for my vote. The city attorney invited if a commissioner wanted to address what the inaccuracies were. Do you want to entertain that, or?
Nope.
Okay.
I said, if y'all want to make a motion, that's on the now. We're on 24. If y'all want to make a motion, make the motion and we'll go along. It's up to y'all.
Okay. I'll make a motion to suspend this item for 90 days to evaluate what a hybrid system would look like, since that option was not presented to the commission and we were not aware that that was an option.
Well, you're second.
I can't second that one.
Okay.
And if I could just say to clarify, I don't know if I want to discuss the hybrid, but I'd like to go back for 90 days and evaluate the code enforcement board at this point and see what changes can be made before we would go ahead with the magistrate. So
Fair enough.
I differ with you on the, and I do have the guts to make that motion.
What?
I'm just not, I can say that. I kind of I'm waiting for my 5 minutes to say how insulted I was, but,
I'll second that.
All right, motion made. Read out that motion again. Well, you added to it, so.
I'm
what's the
making the motion to reevaluate the code board issue in 90 days. I think it might need more than 90 days, but we'll say reevaluate in 90 days.
I'll second.
All right, motion made. Here's comment time. Why could you not have the code enforcement board and a magistrate? What, Craig?
That's what we're discussing.
Well, we're talking about different things to that, but I'm just saying, I brought this up to Craig after that meeting we had back then. Why can you not have a judge or magistrate there with the citizens board to help discuss it and come to the right answer?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to readjust my motion, should I say restate it, but are we?
That's not
before we vote?
provided for in the statute.
What?
May I answer that?
Not in the statute.
That's what a
What's
hybrid
gonna be the
system
hybrid?
is.
What's a hybrid? Somebody got an
all
idea
right,
what the hybrid
Mayor-
is?
Mayor, we're having a lot of speculation, so we want to make sure we enter Mr. Lewis's email onto the record, because he had a specific proposal that would have the special magistrate sitting as adjudicator and the code enforcement board being responsible for a check and balance, if you will, of evaluating the actions by the code enforcement team. Now, you actually have a hybrid system right now. You have a magistrate that hears non-residential items and a code board that hears here's residential items. You know, I could work with either approach. The one thing I would say is, you know, you have a hybrid system now that speaks more to what Commissioner Kennedy mentioned during his comments. The magistrate typically acts as the attorney to the current code enforcement board. So we've now, the commission has approved a contract with a new magistrate, Mr. Fowler, retired. So if you're asking me my recommendation, I would actually recommend that if you're wanting to continue versus evaluating the proposal, I would recommend that you just continue as is with the board versus having that hybrid. The only thing I would say, we need a more aggressive approach from an attorney if we're going to do that, because the commission's directed me to get tougher on code violations, including and up to foreclosing non-homesteaded properties. So the legal chain of custody created by a magistrate who would be an attorney would be important to have involved with the procedure as well. So if my recommendation today would be, if you feel that way, based on the comments that you have, you'd be better off just going with the current system that we have now.
And not having a judge.
Right. You have a code board. I love the idea of having a check and balance system, but that's difficult for defining a code board that's going to do a quarterly review of recommendations made by the code enforcement unit. We should be doing a better job of that as staff, reviewing their recommendations. I had some good conversations with Mr. Bander today about that, and I've already identified several areas of course correction that we need to do. But if you're asking my opinion, I would say either go with a magistrate all in or stick with the code board as it sits right now, because you will have a new attorney representing the code board who is a magistrate, who would presumably be a lot more aggressive with creating the legal chain of custody necessary to uphold in court during a foreclosure case.
So why can't we just go ahead and make the motion to make back it like it was?
Basically, that's what my motion was, except
Well,
to
no, not
reevaluate.
make 90 days.
Well, to reevaluate in 90 days.
Well-
Because at this point, there may be issues that we need to get alternates on that board.
Well, that's our,
That's-
we
you
have to
mentioned
add
that.
that, because we don't have alternates.
And we don't have alternates, but there's a need for alternates there, because if you're,
Yeah. Oh, I
if you,
agree.
I look at this and, I mean, you know, people have, folks have issues in their life that will cause them not to be able to be at a meeting. But we need to have maybe 2 alternates on that board who will be there and understand that they are alternates until they are needed.
In my notes today from my conversation,
We don't have alternates.
I was told there were 7 members and 2 alternates.
Well, I'm asking the lawyer, if it's in our ordinance that we can have alternates. If not, we just have to say,
Didn't you tell me there were 7 members and 2 alternates?
It's a 7-member board with 2 alternates.
right.
Yeah, that's
All
what I
right,
was
right
told.
now,
We currently have 5.
And there's 100 people that signed that petition. Why aren't some of them stepping up and saying, I'd like to be on the board? Where are, no, I understand, he checked it. But
That's
where
just
are
a
those,
joke.
where are those folks? People have a lot of opinions, but, you know, you need people to step up.
Just say leave it like it is. Well, I know you got a motion on the floor, but you can, but just say we're gonna leave it like it is.
Well, see, I wanted to reevaluate and see how they're doing. If they end up not having quorum, I'm sorry, if you end up with a few months of no quorum, I want it back here.
So you're less 2 alternates. You don't have alternates now.
We are short 2 board members and 2 alternates. We only have 5 people currently on the board.
That's,
Well, would you like, the gentleman sitting beside you, would you like to go back to that board?
He is
Yeah.
a board member.
but,
Well, no,
I know what you're asking.
no. He's on another board.
You already left me? Oh, my God.
But does he want to go?
Where is that letter?
But the thing is, do folks want to go
All right.
back on the board? I
We
think
got the
that's what
motion
they're-
on the floor. I just say you leave it like it is and go on. we can do the studies while you're doing it. It's no better.
Come back and.
Do it like it is.
Well, Mayor, if they don't get more folks on there, then we have to go magistrate.
Well, we nominate somebody. We gotta nominate people.
We gotta get people to come on who wanna come on.
I'd like to see those, we need to turn those 100 names in. We'd be glad to send them a letter.
Okay.
See if we can get them on the board.
And are we willing to come back?
So here you are. We got you a chance.
There we go.
All right.
May I ask one question of the city manager, please? Is it, if I understood what you said, is it your contention that the new magistrate will help close that feedback loop and coaching of the Citizen Code Board and address our complaints with the outcomes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Say that again.
So the lack of the liaison point, that having a new magistrate that person will be more aggressive in giving code feedback and coaching on expectations of staff and the commission.
Can I speak, Mayor? Couple points I wanted to make on the record. Code Enforcement Board is a quasi-judicial board, and so it's a little different when you talk about liaisons because they can't interact like they would with some of the other advisory boards. But I absolutely believe that something that has been lacking is a more aggressive liaison and attorney presence with the code board. And I also believe that the code board needs more training, as does city staff that are clerking the code board. And that's something that is easily corrected. And I think getting everyone on the right path that the commission has put me on by direction is what's in order here. And then we can properly evaluate their performance after we make sure that everyone's clear on what their mission is. Couple of things that happened during some of the meetings I've watched is the Code Enforcement Board should not be giving zoning advice, okay? And the attorney should have jumped in immediately and corrected that, and I'm not trying to disparage anyone.
Wasn't this attorney?
With that, but, pardon?
It was not this attorney.
It was not Mr. Geller. It was a lovely individual who's now retired. But we have to be aggressive in advising them as staff and as attorneys, and that's something that we hope is addressed, and by all accounts, we believe that to be true of the new magistrate.
Okay, so
I have
can
one
you read
more
that?
question, if I may,
All
with
right.
your indulgence. Is there, if we don't, there were two parts to the ordinance. One was, part one was the magistrate. Part two was the additional fining, the increasing of the fine. There was a part B. I don't want to lose part B.
Can you read it off?
It's already been,
You know what
I
I'm
believe I
talking
already
about?
read the entire ordinance.
What's the
but
part you're
you
talking about?
can approve part of it.
Trying to find it here. I have it.
Well, you're looking for that. Mr. Lewis, can I just ask, Mr. Lewis, are you willing to stay
He
on the
needs to
board?
come up to,
Are you willing to stay on the board?
Yes, I plan to, if we still have the board, yes.
Okay.
The part two was the ordinance further standardizes procedures for lien reductions, releases, satisfactions, and settlements. Part one was it was assigning the special magistrate and his authority. The second part was new criteria. The fines set forth in the ordinance are 1,000 per day. Are we still going up with the fines in that second part of the ordinance?
Can you do that? Can you break the ordinance up?
So are you
It have to
referring
be
to,
rewritten and represented to us.
may I ask, just
Yes.
for clarification, you're talking about section 7.9 of the ordinance, section
I
7?
don't know, I'm reading the staff
The
report.
staff recommendation, he's focused on that. The ordinance you prepared does the transition to a magistrate, but it also establishes greatly increased fines
Yes.
pursuant to commission direction.
So can we just strike, I'm asking if we can just strike, make a motion to just strike the assignment of the magistrate and keep the rest of the ordinance? You might have to bring it back
We'll
to
have
us.
to bring it back.
I would be more comfortable bringing it back because we're making such drastic changes here that I would want a first and a second reading.
So I'd want to put that in our motion.
Okay, so,
You want me to take a
to
shot on
clean
it?
up the whole motion.
Okay. Starting over. Yes, we can.
Well, I think we have to amend
We'll amend
Commissioner
your-
Wilson's
We'll amend my
motion.
motion
Then you
to
need to amend your
include
motion or
for-
withdraw it.
For withdrawal of the,
You can do that. You could withdraw it.
should I withdraw mine? We'll start all over again. I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Okay.
What about,
Okay. I'll make a new motion to stick with the citizen-led code enforcement board, to have staff bring back an ordinance that maintains the stricter fining regime, but not the assignment of the magistrate. And for staff to advise the commission on a go-forward basis of their evaluation of the effectiveness of the magistrate. And if necessary, commission can reconsider at a future date.
Of the magistrate or the attorney who will be?
That's the same thing.
Is this the attorney?
He acts as the attorney for the code
Will
enforcement.
act as the attorney. I'll
Yes,
second
ma'am.
that.
motion made by Commissioner Kennedy, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments to that? All right, I will say something. I think going back to talking about what we've made it to start with, not what we're doing now. Sometimes in your voting part, you might have to vote for something else, and then you don't vote for what goes with the program, or not goes with the vote majority. But that is what you have to learn to adjust and live with and get on with it. So that's what I'm gonna do with the rest of them. All right, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously, with Commissioner Oliver missing. All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right, number 25. And if you want to get back on that, excuse me. Go right, okay. You want to get back on that board, let them know.
He said yes.
Well, all right,
I'll think about it.
okay, all right. You can stay on the other one also.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. We go ahead, Mr., how about I need him here too, so. I'm gonna take a 2-minute break, 3-minute break. He had to go.
I'll take a break.
Yeehaw. I could told you who was gonna do that. I just can't believe she did it. I appreciate you doing it. Yeah. Take care. Good seeing you. Hey, the next one moving on that. Arthur, they gonna sell that? Now, it's like, hey, see you. Yeah. Take care. Yeah,
That's good. Thank you. Let, email, copy.
Yeah, include Mike, please.
What?
Include Mike.
Mike. Yeah, rumor. Got a rumor.
Yes, rumor.
The mic should be working, so that's good. Because enough people came before me. I'm okay to share now. I can share now. Oh, wait.
Excuse me, who's the clerk? Okay, you're the clerk, thank you. I'm Susan Stanley. And I didn't the motion, the full motion. Kim, do you have a copy of that? The motion that Commissioner Kennedy just made? Not yet. Okay. Yeah, I will have to. I'll have put on the line. I just thought maybe we could have a full copy of it. I didn't get all of it. Right. It was lengthy. It was lengthy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bring the meeting back to order. Going to item number 25, approval of 1248 Birdie Pine Court, Thomas Property Variance Request. We have planner Dozier. All righty.
Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be presenting on the Thomas variance for their property located at 1248 Verde Pines. For issues, it is whether the Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners should approve the variance to Section 5-6B of the Land Development Code to allow for the location of an accessory use and structure within the side yard of a property for the purpose of constructing a pickleball/basketball court. First, some background on the property is located within the Arden Park PUD, Plan Unit Development, specifically within the Arden Park South community. In total, the lot is a little bit under half an acre in area. Here we have the aerial photography of the lot showing the existing conditions. And then this is just a few angles of the property so you can get a better view of what's currently there. No. This is the future land use map with the low-density residential zoning future land use. And then this is the surrounding zoning map with that PUD designation. So per section 4-9A of the Land Development Code, a variance must demonstrate meeting 4 different criteria. The first is that there are special circumstances or conditions that exist on the land that are peculiar and not otherwise prevalent in other properties. The second, that the literal interpretation of the regulations would restrict the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other property owners. Third, being that the special conditions and circumstances are not the result of the actions of the applicant. And fourth, that the granting of the variance request will not confer special privileges to the applicant. So here's a proposed survey indicating the sports court as well as an unpermitted paver walkway, which will be removed and redone with another permit. And then this is a survey drawn by staff just to clearly specify what is considered the side yards and what are considered the rear yard. And with that, staff have found that there are no peculiar conditions that exist for the land, although it is a pie-shaped lot with slightly larger side yards. This property's shape is, pie-shaped lot is seen in other communities in the city. And those residents with their larger properties are still subject to the same requirements. Second, that the literal interpretation of the code does not deprive the property owner of rights commonly enjoyed by others, as they are still able to build in the rear of their property. Third, that the request is a result of a denied building permit application. The applicant did submit for a permit prior to construction to build the sports court with a retaining wall. Staff has directed them to relocate it to meet code, to which the applicant is still pursuing the variance to have it in the side yard. And fourth, that the variance approval would confer special privileges, as all other property owners of single-family residential lots are subject to the same requirements. And with that, for recommendations, the Planning and Zoning Commission met on the item during its March 10th public hearing and made a unanimous recommendation of denial of the request. And similarly, staff is also making a recommendation of denial of the request to Section 5-6B of the Land Development Code to not allow the location of accessory use and structure within the side and rear of, within the side yard of the property. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant and their contractor is also here.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna call up public hearing, open the public hearing and call up Landon Fleming.
Commission, Mayor, my name's Landon. I'm the contractor for the Thomas residence. Did you have any questions for me immediately? If not, I'll give you an overview of kind of our case.
Commissioners, got any comments?
Yes, he is.
You guys, don't fill out that form when you get through.
Yes, sir, we both have filled out the form. Thank you. Yes. Fantastic. Are there any questions for us before we begin?
Anybody got any questions before?
No.
Okay. It's on the basis of two reasons that we would like to receive accommodations for this court at its placement. The first being that there is no other location to relocate the court to. As you'll see on the overlay of the survey, there currently is a pool enclosure directly behind the house. So there is no other place for us to functionally have this court and it be suitable for the purpose of pickleball. So that's the first case. The second is that I would like to speak to the fact that this would be, if this is not approved, it would be depriving the resident of the rights to enjoy this, whereas other residents are enjoying something similar. I'd like to speak to the fact that the house number 1229, right across the cul-de-sac, does have on the public record approval for a concrete slab for the purpose of a sports court on the right side of the property. And so it's with this that I'd like to say that this would be depriving the Thomas family from enjoying this right otherwise enjoyed by other residents. Thank you.
If I may add to that comment, the property in reference at 1229 Verde Pines did apply for that permit in 2022 for a 40 by 30 slab. However, a majority of it is in the rear. When they submitted for the permit, there was no clarification for the use for a sports court. It was just a slab, and it is in the rear of the property.
Do you know as a matter of record, if either property received, it's a HOA, do you know if either property received ARC approval, either 1229 or 1248 for that, so those slabs?
I do not recall one being submitted for this permit. Do you know?
Yes, the HOA, ARC did approve this for the neighborhood.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to note that staff does not, however, review said letters unless it's for permission to install a fence within an easement dedicated to the HOA. That's the only time we'd review something by the HOA.
Yeah, you're right. I know they don't like me to ask that question. but I'm the HOA rep on the commission. That's it.
All right. Anybody else? Yeah, I'd like to, wanted to talk to the applicant.
Yeah, that was my question, is I wanted to ask him if he had that, because it wasn't presented at the planning and zoning meeting that I watched, so.
Show anything on that screen?
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and change the camera. It's gonna show up over here.
Okay. First of all, greetings, everyone. I'm James Thomas, and been a resident of Ocoee for about 15 years now. Also a former volunteer with the city. First, I'd like to share that, yes, it was approved by the HOA. Okay, so that's one exhibit. And then also, I would like to share this. So this is the home directly across from my house. So I sit in my living room and look at their house every day. And guess what they have on the right side of their house? They have a sport court on their side yard. And the reason why is because we don't have very big backyards. I mean, I've got about maybe 8 feet. I mean, there's just not much backyard. That's why we have our property on the side. You know, I got a half acre here, and so the side is where the space is.
I can't, can you speak in, I can't hear, can you turn the volume up, please? Not you, young lady.
Okay, I'll just, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I was missing it. Let me just start again.
Okay.
First of all, I did share that the HOA did approve it, and ever since then, I've been trying to get my approval from the city, and my neighbor has a home directly across the street from me with a side yard with a basketball court, if you can see this image here, no different than what I'm trying to get. You know, I'm not trying to modify anyone else's property. It's the property that I bought. It's my property, and it's been approved by the HOA, and my neighbor has the same thing across the street. And so I'm not asking for anything special. I'm just asking for a place that I can take my kids and grandkids out and play. That's it. Any questions?
Any more?
No,
Do you have any questions, Mr. Firstner?
No.
Nope.
The neighbor
Did the neighbor,
Hold on.
did the neighbor turn his into the city?
Yeah, he had a permit from the
Did he?
city for his
Okay.
slab, yeah.
We have documentation from 2022 for that property submitting for a slab permit, and it's approved to be in the rear of the property. That's not to say that there's been modifications since then, but for what has been permitted, it was a slab in the rear of the property.
It was a slab, but not pickleball or tennis.
It just came in as a concrete slab. Looks like if it's being used as a sports court with how it is currently located, that is still compliant with code.
All right. All right. All right, I don't, that, looks like that's all the questions, so,
All right, thank you so much, everyone.
all right. All right, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to, this is a request for a variance?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to deny the request for the variance. Although I find the ARC approval interesting and compelling, I feel that only partially addresses the 4 components that must all be present to grant a variance. So I'm going to vote for denial. I'm going to make a motion for denial.
We have to have everybody here today. All right, anybody else?
I second that.
Huh?
I second that.
Okay, would the homeowner association pass the variance for it, right? Is that what you're saying? They, I mean,
Yes.
they didn't pass
It was
it.
approved by the homeowners.
They approved
It was
it.
approved by the homeowners association, yes. I have the document here now, Shane.
Their architectural review.
Yeah, architectural.
We have a motion in a second, correct? I think Mr. Ferschner.
Yes.
He
Second.
He seconded.
Okay, all right. Repeat the motion.
I make a motion to deny the variance.
All right. Question, is it legal or illegal to do that?
It's not totally in the backyard, so it would be a right that you would have. That's grab whatever you need. So, yeah, I believe it is legal to deny.
Okay, all right. Let's vote. Voting on your motion. All right. They voted yes, not to pass the variance.
Oh, voted yes.
Huh?
We voted to
No.
deny the variance.
Voted to deny, okay. I guess we'll continue, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Can it, is that because part of it was in the front yard?
It was going to be the side yard where he said he couldn't put the back
Yeah.
yard.
All right, item number 26. Approval item number 26 is, I'm gonna read it. Applicant request to continue in order to hold a community meeting. Item will be advertised at a later date for future city commission meetings. You gonna read it anyway, read that. All right?
Mayor, I wasn't planning on reading anything from
Okay,
that. The request
good.
was
All right.
to continue.
So we don't need to vote on it.
Here
either,
for
do we?
27.
We're not gonna vote on it anyway, okay. All right, we're gonna move down to 27. Approval of resolution for the abandonment and vacation of a portion of the right-of-way for North Clark Road. Now you got it, Mr. McFarland.
Yes, sir. Yep. Mayor and Commissioners, thank you. We are here with the issue of whether the Honorable Mayor and City Commission should approve a resolution abandoning and vacating a portion of the public right-of-way of North Clark Road. Just a bit of background on this. This vacation and abandonment is located in District 4. The right-of-way is approximately 2,800 square feet in size, and the request initially came in due to the existing subdivision wall that was built for McCormick Reserve, being built in the public right-of-way that was dedicated at the time of the construction of the subdivision. So this was in part due to some surveying errors, and it's something that we've been trying to correct. The request came from the original builder for the subdivision. And in reviewing this, one of the things that we first looked at was whether there would be sufficient right-of-way for the current two-lane road, and if the city decides to widen Clark Road at that point to a four-lane road, there would still be sufficient right-of-way. The city also owns the property directly to the east that you can see on this slide. This is a location map for the abandonment and vacation request. As you can see, it's just south of McCormick Road there on Clark. And this is an aerial showing the approximate location. You can kind of see where the subdivision wall kind of jogs a bit east into the right-of-way and then back into the subdivision tract. So staff sent this out to all our applicable utility companies that review these abandonment and vacation requests, and we received no letters of objection from all applicable utilities. Our own utility did have one request. They requested that in the resolution we add language in that our utilities providers would have the right, an easement to go in and repair or maintain any existing utilities in that area, or just to have access in order for machinery to be in that area. So that is something that is written into this resolution if it were to pass tonight. So with that in mind, staff recommends that the Honorable Mayor and City Commission approve a resolution abandoning and vacating a portion of the public right-of-way of North Clark Road. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So you're gonna read the,
A resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, abandoning and vacating a portion of North Clark Road, 80-foot right-of-way, as shown on the plat of McCormick Reserve, Phase 1, according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 87, pages 111 through 115, inclusive of the public records of Orange County, Florida, lying in the northwest 1/4 of Section 33, Township 21 South, Range 28 East, City of Ocoee, Orange County, Florida, providing for reservation of a public utility easement, providing for recordation, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we'll still have a public hearing on it. All right. Open up the public. Anybody in the public have any comments on 27? Nope, we'll close it, come up to the dais. I need a motion.
I'm just gonna say one thing, that I do like that we're retaining 60 feet in the right of way for future widening. I think it was, is it 60 feet that, and the widening for future?
Yes, we would have sufficient right-of-way, and again, we own the land that's adjacent to the east. So if there were any need for widening in the future, not saying there is any now, but in the future, we would have plenty of right-of-way room.
Well, Clark Road was never meant to be 4 lanes, so we always want to make sure we have this in here for the future.
Agreed.
Because 4 lanes started out, and Clark started as a dirt road, to the point of 2 lanes, to the point of 4 lanes. So we always want to make sure we have that, that's clearly stated in there.
Absolutely.
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. No more comments, let's vote.
It's not going, there it is. Did somebody not vote?
I'm in.
I'm in.
I did.
My lights.
There we go.
Motion carries unanimous with Commissioner Oliver absent. Okey-doke. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 28, utility billing policies and procedure assessment.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm going to introduce this item before they begin. We have the privilege of having had to clean up a lot of things this past year, including the solid waste fund and several other things associated with budget. This item before you tonight is a byproduct of a number of things. A lot of policies got relaxed during the pandemic, and what happens, post-pandemic, you have to kind of reel things back in. Last year, we had several incidents where customers had called in about having their water cut off and complained, maybe to some of you all even, and upon further inquiry, they're carrying large balances, which is not supposed to happen. And so we did an internal assessment with staff, and then we actually asked a third party to review our assessment. And so we have fixed everything that we can fix, and Jen and Stephen are going to walk you through what we've done to correct the course, and then there are things that we need your authorization to correct ourselves. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bowling and Mr. Weber.
All right, good evening again. And again, for the audience that is hanging in there to the end, I'm Jen Bowling, I'm the Utilities Director, and this is Finance Director Steve Weber. So as Craig mentioned, he initiated this utility billing assessment after being notified that we had several and really numerous accounts that had some pretty significant outstanding balances. And so the assessment identified these COVID-era protocols that really, although cliche, it was unprecedented times. And so we did become a little bit more lenient to help our customers maintain service and pay their bills. We also have some outdated municipal code language that really just needs to be updated and reevaluated with the commission regarding enforcement. And then there have been numerous inherited procedures, just as staff changes over time, that have not really been codified, and I think it's really best to have direction on these things. So tonight, we're going to talk to you about these procedural changes. Utilities has been working very closely with the finance department and the city manager to address what we can address. And then we have some things to discuss with you that will require your direction and approval. So before I let Steve take over, you know I love to talk utilities. There are a lot of things that we are doing to really work with our customers and to help not only reduce consumption for conservation, but this also assists in ensuring that their bills don't get, in theory, really high, right, and out of control. So we have programs in place. As part of this effort, we are increasing our efforts. I think that we do well. We always strive to do better. We do continuous use notifications that we're able to run these reports from our smart metering program. And so we actually have expanded this. We didn't have a great response when we were calling our customers and emailing them. So we create door tags and we leave door tags in addition to sometimes calling our customers. We also have the Smart Irrigation Controller Incentive Program. Initially, this was a partnership with the Water Management District to just be for potable irrigation only. However, we've expanded this now for the highest reclaimed water user customers as well. We've increased inspections for water theft. So what we've seen in the past is when an account is well past due and we turn water off, there are customers that will turn their water back on without paying their bill. We had a procedure where we would lock these meters. What we're going back now to do is we put forth more of an effort. In full transparency, this is a lot more staff time. When we have repeat offenders, we either remove the meter or we're also pilot testing a meter that has remote desktop turn off and that the customer cannot turn on. And lastly, you recently approved the Vertex One customer portal, which we're pretty excited about. I know Commissioner Wilson, you really like the census portal. This is a much more robust customer portal. It will eliminate that need to log in to, right now you have to pay your bill in one login, and then to log into census, it's a separate login. So this puts it in one, so when the customer logs in to pay their bill, there will be that front page that will show their usage. You still have the same features such as notifications for high bill trend, and we also have the ability to personalize messages as well as mass messaging. So we are really trying to do what we can to be more proactive and to assist these customers before these bills get out of hand. We'll let Steve take over.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to go through the items that the Finance Department has completed or we're in the progress of completing. We've worked closely, as Jen said, with the Utilities Department to implement some of these. So in the discussions with utilities, there's some additional performance reports that we could do through our monthly billing process. And one specific item is just we want to ensure that the amounts that we're sending out bills for on the consumption side is matching what they're seeing on their water system side. So just some extra reports to kind of ensure that process is happening. We have compiled a list of closed accounts that are older than 5 years for their outstanding balances. And that is in line with Florida Statute 95.11. And that is required to have commission approval to officially write off those accounts. So they're older than 5 years, carrying an outstanding balance, but in order to write those accounts off, we're going to seek commission approval for that. We're also reviewing all closed and inactive accounts to ensure that no late fees are being assessed. There were a couple of instances where even though there hasn't been any activity and the account's been closed for a number of years, even though a bill's been being sent out, they're being assessed a late fee. So we're looking at that process. We have already implemented monthly meetings between finance, utilities, and other city management to review the water bills and just to kind of have that interaction between the two departments on how this process is moving forward. And of course, we're going to continue to have an ongoing review of the policies and procedures around utility billing to see if there's any opportunities for improved efficiencies or improved management of the utility billing process. And then with that, since we're going to look at other ways of doing things, this is going to include additional staff training both in the finance department for what our billing system can do. We also want to learn the Vertex One system so that we can, understand what the customer is seeing on their portal side and then what the utilities department is seeing on their side. So we want to do that training. Okay, so the things that we're needing your direction on, as I mentioned before, the list of accounts that are older than 5 years that need to be written off. That total amount is a little over $493,000 balances that's been carried. And of course, they're beyond the statute of limitations, so we need approval to write that off. As Jan had mentioned, we needed some updated language on the municipal code. One of them is around leak adjustments. Number one, we want to include irrigation leak adjustments. And then the second item is that the language needs to be updated to the current rate structure for those adjustments. That $1.05 per gallon adjustment is an old rate system, so we need to update it to include the second tier of current rate chart. And also, certainly, we want to ensure the code is consistent with the leak adjustment policy, so we'll be bringing that forward. The next item, and this is one of the COVID era processes that kind of changed on, was to hold the property owners accountable. We have it in the municipal code, chapter 173, 5.2, to ultimately hold the property owners for outstanding balances. And so we just want to get back to following that code policy. Was there a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Under this accountable, all we do is cut them off. If you get cut off, you don't get the water back on till you pay it, right? Just for general purposes, how much money are we talking about?
As far as like
how many owe us money
in total? That the amount that we're writing off, or just in total what's outstanding?
Yeah, I'm not talking about how much money do they owe us on late payments, not paying the bill. What's the total amount of money? You got to have that.
Stephen, if you can give him the total separate from the 493,000.
Oh, the total balance.
Total collectible unpaid balances.
Okay. If any of you by
Total
chance
collected.
have that information, I didn't write it in with the slide.
Total arrears on unpaid.
Yeah.
I will share while Vanna comes up here, we have an example of a rental property that the tenants keep turning over and they don't pay, and that rental property has a $10,000 outstanding balance, and we, new tenants come in and they open, and the previous tenants do not. So that's just one property.
When I had a rental house I rented out years ago, when they left and didn't pay, I had to pay. What's the difference in the landlords of this?
Well, I think the issue is part of that kind of COVID era policies that we kind of softened up a little bit during that tough time. We just haven't reinstated that policy, and we've just come to discuss that, these are big policy changes to make sure that we're all on the same page as we reinstate this policy.
I would say that if you don't pay after a certain number of time, we need to take the the meter out or something, because I want to know how much it is. If you're talking about $500,000 to write it off?
Well, that's kind of, I think, a multitude of things and payments. In the case of the rental units right now, our policy, what happens is if somebody leaves and doesn't pay the bill, a new tenant oftentimes comes to open up the account.
All right, here's the deal about the rental houses. Make sure rentals don't pay it. Make sure the landlord pays it. We need to put I don't know what you got to do. We should have done it before now. If it's a landlord, he owns the house, he owns the water meter.
It's in the code.
Yeah. So why do we do that?
How did policy get away from the code? What's the history of it? Did the commission authorize that, or did somebody just do that?
Somebody just did that. That's why I'm before you, because I did an investigation of it, and I want reaffirmation that from the commission to adhere to these policies, and in some cases update them to modern policies.
Craig, does that have to go into legal parts that says they cannot let I know why the landlord's doing that, because they don't want to pay it. I know, but that's not the way it ought to work.
Is there more slides after this that might answer some of these questions?
No.
No? Is this the
They
last
haven't brought
slide?
the money up yet, it wasn't gonna come up.
I know that we got soft during COVID. I remember that. It was, you know, I know we did, but we never came back and readdressed it. And I mean, I know we did.
Is it, all right,
So-
I'll ask you a question. Is it in, that 500,000 in the rest of this presentation?
Yeah, so.
You got it, it shows 500,000.
So the whole total outstanding balance, including the amount that we're requesting to write off, is a little over $2.1 million. That's outstanding. That's all in counting the full 17,000 accounts that we have.
Now we're-
And there actually is a piece within my slide that talks about actually placing a lien.
Yes.
An official lien on the property. So that's another item similar to this of not holding the property owner accountable, that the process was stopped of then liening the property. And that's what we would do in this case of the property owner with a tenant situation, is ultimately the property would be liened for that outstanding
But you don't get that
amount.
money until they decide to sell it, if they sell it.
Correct. That is correct. We also have another recommendation for using a collection agency as well.
Do you
But
have more slides to go?
I do. I'll run through them quickly.
No,
Oh.
I'm not looking for quick. I'm just
Sure.
saying that I don't want to ask you a question that may be in a future slide.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
We do it all the time
I'm sorry?
when we're doing these things.
I
Everybody
know,
asks questions.
I know, I'm just.
So I ask one that
No,
gets through.
it's good. It's a
Can
good
we,
question.
before you move on?
Sure.
Because I don't want to revisit this portion. You're saying that the total arrears owed for the water bills is 2.1 million.
That's all outstanding accounts, ones that are far in arrears, ones that just received their current bill. That's all
Got it.
total amount outstanding.
And
for
$493,000 of that is beyond the collection
The 5-year collection,
statute.
correct.
And there's a portion of that 493 that came from tenants,
Correct.
but there's also a portion of the other balance that is still collectible that also came from tenant.
Correct.
And you're going to ask us if you should lien those in a future slide.
To lien the property owners for it, yes, correct.
Perfect. Please continue.
Sure. All right.
The answer is yes.
Okay, so another item that we would be recommending, as Jen mentioned, for the water tampering fees, it's currently at $150. We would recommend increasing that to a tiered structure. For the first offense to be $200, the second offense $500, and the third offense service termination. Another item is the collection practices. One of the items, as Jen mentioned, that wasn't codified in the record is a payment plan. Payment plans have been set up with a minimum of $25. So we actually would like to bring forward a more defined payment plan. We have ones that will get paid off within the next few months. We've got some within the next few years. We have one account based on its current payment plan structure would be set to be paid off in 13 and a half years. So we would like to put together a more formalized payment plan
$2 a
structure. If that is actually something that the commission would like to have, is to have a formally adopted payment plan.
This is insane.
Yeah. Pays their water
This
bill
is
every month.
unacceptable.
To me, it's unacceptable, because if I didn't pay my bill, you
Right.
cut me off.
Well,
And
correct.
I make a payment every month to make sure I ensure that I have water.
Right.
And in fact, I get credits every month because I overpay to do that.
Yeah, part of what is happening is, it's affecting the operations of the water system, and so it's affecting all other ratepayers, not just these specific accounts. It's affecting all of them. So we're also requesting to increase the customer deposits. Currently, for residentials, we have $60 per service, and for commercial, we have $120 per service. We'd be recommending to move to $200 per service for residential, and then 2 times the average monthly use, minimum of $290 for the commercial accounts. We've listed a few neighboring cities for what they currently do. Both the first number is for residential, and the second piece is for the commercial side. Any questions there before I move forward? Okay. Let's see. Another item with those deposits currently, they are placed back against the account after a certain period of time. We would be requesting to actually hold that deposit until the account is closed or final billed, and that way we can apply any outstanding balance against that deposit as opposed to issuing it earlier. For our reconnection fee for cutoffs, we'd be recommending moving from $20 currently to $70. This is in part to recover only part of the cost of sending out city staff to do both the turnoffs and then later on in the day to turn on. We've also listed some neighboring cities there to get as an example of what they charge. There's the item there of reinstating the practice of pricing property liens on significantly delinquent accounts that we discussed earlier. And then if you'd be willing to entertain approving the use of a collection agency, and this would not only be for property owners, but this would be for tenant accounts. So any account balance that's been outstanding for a number of times. In cities that I've worked at in the past, we've done a 6-month. So if we haven't had any payment on an account in arrears for 6 months, we've turned them over to collection and left it to the collection agency to work out on that collection process.
When you deal with a collection agency, is that when it goes on your credit report? If you don't,
Yes, correct.
That's a step in the collection agency that we don't do ourselves, but it would go on from the collection agency.
Right, yeah, so they would, we would send them the outstanding balance that we have on the account, and then they would add on 7% collection fee. And in some instances, I've seen where they've also included an interest charge there that would be on to the customer, so then when it's collected, we collect our outstanding amount, and then they have their fees for their collection process. Pardon me?
What's the percentage they charge?
Of the interest?
Yeah.
I'd have to look back at the, because we have a piggyback agreement that we were looking at for the city of Ocala. I'd have to look at that specific piece. The only part that I made note of was that additional collection fee, that 7%. So here's the recommendations that we have. Approving write-off of outstanding customer balances older than 5 years. Reinstate holding property owners responsible for unpaid tenant bills as allowed by the current city code. Improving, I apologize for the misspelling of liens there. It should be L-E-I-N-S. Approve reinstating liens as allowed by city current code, or current city code. Authorize staff to move forward with developing an ordinance and policy updates for commission approval to address the other collection issues. I'd be open to any questions.
Back that up.
Sure.
Back that up. If you go up where it says reinstate holding property owners responsible for unpaid tenant bills, that way we get our money because they're gonna get their house foreclosed if it's on a rental. You can foreclose them if they're on rentals.
Correct.
That's why they don't want you to.
Correct.
They're not homesteaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I'm just saying,
I'm,
I'm clarifying that in mind.
may I?
He's the mayor, I'm not.
I'm confused, which is never good. I'm just, my mind is blown. Part of what you're asking us is for staff to start following the existing code. Am I misstating that?
No, you are not misstating that. Yeah, some of these practices of being
So you don't
lenient
need
against the
us,
code.
you just need to make, as directors, you just need to make staff follow the code as written. Is that, am I lost?
That plus the recommended increases in fines that would come back in an ordinance. But you were reading it exactly right. We were asking the commission to reaffirm and reinstate direction to us to adhere to those policies in the code that for whatever reason, have not been adhered to or relaxed as part of any
And those,
COVID-related
pardon me,
policies.
those relaxations do not come to the commission, or they did? I wasn't here then, so did the commission wink, nod, semi-nod? How, are we
I think
guilty of
anything
this?
that the state put into effect during COVID that relaxed people getting their water turned off, et cetera, had to have come before the commission.
Okay.
So I believe some of them did, and I know some of them did not.
Okay.
We have a whole scatterboard of different payment plans that have been put in place. And so we acted on that, and we're here today to try and address it.
Thank you. On the payment plans, I agree with giving someone a payment plan on the arrear if they get behind, as long as they're making the current payment. So you pay whatever last month's bill is, and you pay some portion of, you know, okay,
Correct.
I got a $2,000 water bill I can't pay, but going forward, I'll make payments. I don't agree with giving somebody 13 years to do it. I don't know what's reasonable, 12 months, something, but I'd love, yes. I mean, the answer to all of this is, for me, is either why aren't you already doing it, or yes, bring us back authorization to do it. I totally agree with leaning and foreclosing for-profit rental properties. I totally agree with holding the owner responsible. And I'm very, my concern would be, as a CPA, fellow financial person, that while you're waiting or implementing that direction, that the aging is slipping into the statute of limitations. So I would say, with all haste, start leaning.
Yes, sir.
When in doubt, lean. I was taught by a very good businessman. You can always fix a lien later. So I would say, yes, analyze your aging and everything that you think is close to that danger, lean it.
Okay.
Lean it now.
And to follow up on the payment plan, what is currently in place is their current bill plus an additional amount.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Are some of those high bills rentals?
I believe so, but I would have to double check.
Then that lien on those houses can be addressed.
Yeah.
Correct.
We will be doing that.
Yep, we will be doing that.
But don't ever let it go, if it's a rental, make the owner's name go down. I know what it is, they don't wanna pay the water bill, and then they don't wanna pay the water bill.
Yep.
Yeah, we plan to use the tools that are already in the code.
Mayor, may I?
Yep.
I just want to get into the record. There are options for low-income residents that have fallen on hard times. Under the Orange County CDBG program, they have a bill pay assistance program. We did in some of our data discovery, actually recognize that there are some that have availed themselves of that program in our system, and they got caught up. And there are also instances that we know of where people have leaks that continue to drive their bill up. And Orange County CDBG also has a home repair program that could be utilized for qualified low-income residents to help pay for fixing that leak that could stop the bill. So we're gonna try and redouble our efforts to get the word out so that people that have fallen on hard times can actually have an option.
I hate to be the one to say this, but they don't pertain to do too much of that to out here.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't seem to think this is the county's responsibility.
Well, our citizens qualify if they are, if they meet the income qualified standards of the program, then they are eligible to apply. We also would like permission to link to that program on our webpage, since it is a third-party webpage, Orange County. I think we need to get the word out so more of our citizens can reap benefits of that program. But our recommendation is to get tough on everybody else.
Do you have, I'm sorry, may I ask one?
Go ahead.
You, do you have internal controls in place at this point that prevent a city employee from not following the code on this matter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I do, Mayor, can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I remember, I think I was here during COVID, and that was when we wrapped the seats up in plastic and nobody got in, and plastic dividers between us, and we probably I guess at that point, we were more lenient, never realizing that we're looking at 2.1 nor 493. These figures are astounding to me. I'm not here to criticize. I think we kind of let things, unfortunately, get to this point. We have to stop the bleeding now. And I'm hoping that these folks that are the overconsumers that aren't paying, that we are making some restrictions on them. I mean, if you can't afford to pay the water bill, then you shouldn't be an overconsumer. But what I'm asking is on, when you say the third offense, they have we stop the water. Are we really allowed to do that? To cut their water off totally? Or do we have the option to ask for a $1,000 deposit after they pay the bill? I'm just saying is that, I don't like shutting someone's water off totally, but I'm just saying is there other options that we can, you have to pay put a $1,000 deposit up? I mean,
So we have attempted to work with customers in that respect where we'll require a larger payment to reinstate water. We do work with our customers, and we try to provide a lot of opportunities that they can be aware of their usage before they get that large bill.
I think you have worked with them. I think unfortunately, people have taken advantage of the kindness that you have extended to give them the opportunity to pay $2 extra a month if they're paying for 13 years. We can't allow that to happen because our folks are paying for water. Our folks, as a majority, are paying their bill, but yet we're gonna be subsidizing the folks who aren't paying. That's what it comes to. When the bill goes up, when you're, you know, the tier level goes up, different values, we're paying for folks who aren't paying, which is very unfair. The other thing is the new meters that you're talking about, are those something that you can investigate to use in the future to where you can shut them off remotely and not have to send someone out? Because that costs money.
Right.
That's the $70 that you're increasing to send someone out at 10 o'clock at night when they've paid the bill.
Right, so that's what happens actually, is that we have anywhere between 8 to 10 employees dedicated doing cutoffs, especially when it's the potable water, and then we have about 5 or 6 that can run as late as 10:30 at night. So unfortunately, a lot of times these customers wait until their water is cut off, and then they'll pay those late fees. We kind of pilot studied for 1 month where we door tagged a number of people to say your water is going to be cut off tomorrow, and we got a pretty good response, which is one of the reasons why we went with Vertex One, is we're hoping that we're going to be able to push out a text. I mean, the full transparency, Desiree really works with people and she puts them on payment plans, but what happens when someone's supposed to pay, whether it's $25 or $100 a month, and then they just don't pay that money? I mean, these are things that as long as we have, if you codify these payment plans, it helps with its enforcement.
We don't want late money. We don't want to have to send someone out. You know, you're taking someone away from their home at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night to go turn your water on. My opinion is I don't want the extra money. I want you to pay your bill.
Which is what we really tried to do with the continuous use with Vertex One, is really just work on the education and collection portion. But what you need is your customers to sign in and take advantage of a service that, quite honestly, the entire utility is paying for, not just to empower them so they avoid that bill and to support our sustainability program, but it also keeps money in their pocket and helps them stay true to their bill payment.
I believe in the that census program.
Right.
This week, I found out someone left the bib open a little bit, and I found out at 3 in the morning, we're using 10 gallons of water. And it's like, it's simple things like that that you go, someone left just a little bit. And again, that's education. We need folks to know that when you see, you go to this program and you see it. And I'm looking forward to when you're bringing the next one online, because.
Right, part of the problem is when you have a separate login, when you're gonna pay your bill in one login, but then you're supposed to log in for the other one. So we're really hoping that combining these will encourage customers to take advantage of those alerts.
Yeah, just stop the bleeding here.
Commissioner Forster, you had any comment?
Yeah, I think you did a real good job on these recommendations on how to fix a broken system. I think we all agree that the system has been broken. To me, though, they sound like you're closing the barn door after the horses left. I would like to see a plan on how you anticipate getting back the $2 million in arrears, or however much that is. The 493 is a write-off, correct, due to state law? That's gone. But $2 million in arrears, I'd like to see some kind of plan on how we're going to get that. Now, increased deposits and fees like that are fine, but you're targeting the wrong customers. They're the new customers that haven't even been on the system yet. We need to address what you need in the way of enforcing and collecting that money that's outstanding to us, which is a significant amount. Budget is coming up. If you need people for enforcement purposes or whatever, I'd like to see that, in your budget requests. But I think we need some type of plan to aggressively try to recoup that money.
I agree, and that's why we're here today.
Correct.
No, some of that, and I can't quantify right now, some of that would be when we were, the way that the billing worked, assessing like late payments on some accounts, that winds up appearing to be debt, but it's not really debt, right? So we're doing some cleanup in terms of the utility billing too. We've got some other ideas on the rentals. We've kicked around maybe on a rental property, because someone might move out on the 30th and someone moves in on the 2nd, right? So there's that outstanding bill. But if we don't change the code to require the property owner to open the water bill, maybe the next time the account's open, if there's an outstanding balance, we don't allow that account open until the property owner, clears the bill.
Good.
What I'd like to know is how many rentals is the total money? How many rentals that owe us money? That's what I want to know. Because I can tell you right now, we're going to lien them, the city.
And foreclose them.
And foreclose them. I guarantee they'll pay. And that's,
I'm not sure at this point, you'd have to correct me,
Yeah.
Steve or Vanna. So part of the way that our utility billing was set up is that they review whether or not, and Desiree, maybe you can correct me on this, they review whether or not the property owner is opening up the water account, but we don't have a specific designation in ADG that says rental property, is that correct? And so we're working with ADG as we do some updates to ensure that we have a clear field so that we can tease out that data. So some of this is how ADG was originally set up, and just the city's grown.
but anybody that's a rental house has to be listed. It has to be listed. They're not on Homestead.
So within the billing system, we currently don't have it set up to designate between a tenant and a
That's
property
why we
owner.
got $2 million involved.
So, in my past experiences in setting up accounts, we've always listed an address with the property owner. And then if it is a rental, then we have the ability to set up both a tenant and an owner. So that when it moves out, it automatically goes back into the owner's name.
Mayor.
And we don't currently have that system
Well, every
set
person
up.
that- But that city building and the city is on the tax rolls, who owns it?
We can't easily query that information.
We get the tax.
Mayor, what I was going to tell you,
Oh,
we can
huh.
absolutely manually get that
Yes.
information you're talking about. They're talking about moving forward right now with the system that we have, but we can get that information before the week's out. It requires looking at the property database.
Yeah.
And we can easily determine who's a renter and who's not. And then associate that then by address and
Can't-
obtain that information.
Can't you just take, this is an AI thing, take a list of people that have arrears. Get a list of homesteaded properties from Orange County. You don't need to know whether they're renting or not. You need to know whether they have a homestead. If they don't have a homestead, lien them.
Yeah.
Lien them tomorrow.
Right, we can most definitely do it,
You
it's
can
just
do
not
that
a
in
quick query.
15 minutes in ChatGPT. I'll come down and show you how. Get the data. Get your intern.
If,
Get a list of the properties that owe you money.
Mm-hmm.
Get a list of the homesteaded properties in
Yep.
the city.
Okay.
And find the ones that are missing.
Okay.
Those are, it doesn't matter, they can be renting, whatever their reason for not having a homestead is, doesn't matter. If they don't have a homestead, they're lienable.
Okay.
do it.
How does
Yeah.
this,
That's right.
can I ask you, how does this differ? I sell my house today and we go through closing and I contact you and tell you to cut my water account off, but the new owner comes in and says, I want to start it tomorrow because I'm moving in.
Yeah.
When you try to get the title change, you'll see.
Well, the thing is, the title's changed, the title's changed, the title's changed. Now I'm
You
no
won't
longer
have a clear
the.
title, though.
Huh?
You won't have a clear title.
Your title company
Yeah.
will have a default
That's right.
on the title insurance.
Well, but
Hey.
I've already been through closing. I've walked out with my check.
They're supposed to check whether
They
you
check
owe
it.
money.
They'll call the city.
With lien.
All right,
Okay, well-
so you need us to, you need us to do a motion tonight on this?
Go forth and conquer.
I would suggest, certainly need a motion on 1 and 4,
I'd like-
but just for simplicity, just move to approve
Move
all
to
all the
authorize
recommendations.
staff's recommendation.
Long as you're going to go after the rentals.
We are absolutely, this is
If
thrilling.
you have to hire
Yes.
an accounting firm to come in and do what he said, hire them and bring them in and let's clean it up.
Absolutely.
And get it.
And I would say a commitment to go after anybody that violates this going forward.
That's right.
At your counter.
Thank you.
Let's steal it.
So is that
Yeah,
Okay, I need a motion for this. Is everybody for this?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy, here's a second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner First. No more comments, I hope. Let's vote.
Go forth and conquer.
Motion carries with Commissioner Oliver absent. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up with it.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
I appreciate it.
Ooh. Mayor's announcement. We're gonna do this quick. April events. Chick-fil-A 5K Family Run, Fun Run, happening on Saturday, April the 18th at 7:30 a.m. at Bill Breeze Park. Featuring a luau theme, runners and walkers of all ages are welcome. Registration is $40. Proceed will benefit Do Good Farm. Registration information can be found at ocoee.org. May events. Cinco de Mayo Block Party will take place on Friday, May the 1st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. downtown Ocoee. The event will feature DJ, food trucks, games, rides, and more. Ocoee PD Community Picnic will take place Saturday, May the 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Venetic Park. Admission is free. The picnic will include food, fun, vendors, games, and prizes. Memorial Day Ceremony happening on Tuesday, May the 21st at 11 a.m. at Ocoee Lakeshore Center. The ceremony is open to the public. Refreshments will be provided after the ceremony. Commissioner Firster, you have any comments?
No, sir.
Commissioner Wilson?
Just the egg extravaganza that happened this past weekend. Kudos to the Park and Leisure Department. It was a great event, well attended. So thank you again for another wonderful event.
Commissioner Kennedy?
No, sir.
Meeting adjourned.